Interactivity Sketcher is an interactivity designing tool which can visualize and experience the invisible interactivity in a tangible way. The example of the iPhone and Android scrolling function, a user tries to scroll down the top of the list. The list bounces at the top edge. The list in Android moves at a constant speed, but iPhone's list moves with acceleration like a spring pendulum motion. This difference results in a very different user experience of the same function. Our question then was, how can we enable interaction designers to freely sketch this invisible but significant quality of interactivity? These questions led us to design and propose our Interactivity Sketcher. The Interactivity Sketcher walks through the 4 parts, namely inputs, outputs, IA controllers, and IA application. IA app is the software that serves its role as the central processor. Both input and output values are displayed on the IA application graph. An output value is calculated when the PC receives an input value from a selected input device and PC sends the output value to the selected output device. The user can change the shape of the graph using the IA controller. IA controllers control the 3 attributes, namely change speed, response threshold, and response time. Change speed is the change rate of the output value, change triggered by the input value change. To manipulate change speed, a user changes the speed of shaking the IA controllers while pushing the right-hand button. Response threshold is the threshold of an input value to trigger the output to happen. To manipulate response threshold, a user adjusts the distance between the left and the right side of the controllers. Response time is the time delay from an input action to the output reaction caused by the input action. A user can change response time by controlling the interval time between pushing the left button and the right one, like a stopwatch. Through IA app, designer can choose input and output. Also, the graph visualizes the relationship between input and output values. The graph has 2 different types. One is a linear type graph, and the other is a constant type graph. IA app can save a created graph to the IA relationship library. We try to select the fundamental types of input components and output components to find applicable uses. The selected inputs are a flex sensor, a potentiometer, and an accelerometer. For the output parts, we made a list of output behaviors, moving forward and moving zigzag for the motor, blinking and alternating for the LEDs. The iPad is a special device that has both input and output features. We devised a standalone application for iPad through which it can communicate with the interactivity attributes. In order to examine the effects of Interactivity Sketcher in interaction design practice, we tested it with 5 designers who are in the master's program of the department. Most of the participants commented that Interactivity Sketcher is a very unique tool for actually sketching interactivity. We expect new possibility of designing interactivity through Interactivity Sketcher, which enables designers to create more precise and rich interactivity to create new interaction experience.